Now we would like to go on to the panel, and I take this opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker. He is a seasoned executive and a serial entrepreneur. Amar is the founder and CEO of Clove Dental, India's fastest growing chain of high quality dental clinics. Driven by the motto, purpose makes hardships easier to deal with, Mr. Singh is working hard to ensure that every nook and corner of India has access to world class dentists. He has over 25 years of experience in both entrepreneurial ventures and large corporate organizations. Prior to founding Clove Dental, Mr. Singh ran a supply chain software company based in California. He was also the senior vice president of SAP, generating over $1 billion in revenue. He has also worked in senior management roles at Procter & Gamble, Pfizer, and as a consultant with Bain & Company. Amar is an Harvard Business School alumnus and a gold medalist from University of Waterloo. Amar, we are fortunate to have you with us, and we request you to please deliver your keynote address.
Thank you, Gauravji. I hope everyone can hear me. I'm getting some signals that my internet connection is a little bit unstable. So if it does go unstable, I may have to turn the camera off to continue, which I will try and monitor. All right, so good evening, everybody. And thank you very much, Gauravji, for inviting me on this esteemed panel. I'm so honored to be here with a good and great group of leaders from healthcare in India, many of whom will speak today, that you'll hear from them. So what you've asked me to do is just talk a little bit about, how is the impact of COVID changing and reshaping how we operate, how we have survived, how we have endured this crisis, how we have recovered or are recovering from this crisis, and how we are actually seizing new opportunities. So I'll talk about those three things. I'll talk about how we have endured, how we are recovering, and then how we are seizing new opportunities. So just a bit of background, as you mentioned, we have about 350 clinics in 25 cities, all of which are company owned and operated, which means all dentists and dental assistants and staff work for us full time. And so we had about 1,800 employees before the crisis began, with 350 clinics. And on March 19th, the few hours before Prime Minister Modi first came on to announce the Janta curfew, the very first curfew, we as management team sat down and made a decision that effective March 20th, we will shut down and close all our 349 clinics until this crisis was understood and we knew what was happening. So the point I'm making here is that the first decision we made was perhaps a very important and strategic one, to shut down all operations overnight. And the reason we made that decision is because we have identified in our company 3 core values that we live by. And those are respect, trust, and integrity. With respect to respect, our focus always has been that we are in healthcare, we are in dental care, and our number one priority. If you are hearing me well, or
yes,
have I lost? All
yes.
Right, sorry. So number one priority for us is the safety of our staff. Because we believe that if our staff are safe and comfortable, then they will be able to deliver a high quality care to our patients, and therefore ensure that our patients are safe and get good quality care. So because of that value of respecting our employees, respecting our staff and professionals, as one of our core values, we looked at the management and made a decision that we will shut down these clinics, which meant that overnight our revenues went to zero. However, the cost structure was still there. A few days later, after we kind of absorbed this decision, we then made a decision that we are not going to terminate any employee, at least for the next near foreseeable future. Now, at that moment, we did not see we will be sitting here in August and having this discussion. But at that moment, we thought it'll be a few weeks, month, maybe two. So we said we're not going to make any terminations or any layoffs in the organization. Again, coming from our core values of respecting and trusting our professionals. Instead, what we did was we said whatever little we have, we are going to spread it between all employees. So instead of going, which many companies did, where they terminate or send some employees on furlough and you reduce your salaries to 70, 80% of the people who are remaining, what we instead did was we lowered the salaries less than 50% for everyone. So the objective was that we will endure together and we'll come out of this crisis together. That decision, I think 2 months later, 3 months later, turned out to be a very powerful decision because that sent a message to our employees, our Clovers, as we call them, that the company is really holding to its core values. So the point I'm making, friends, is that the first part of enduring this crisis was making the tough decisions, which we did. Then we moved to the next bucket, which is how do we recover from it? We then spent over a month researching. We tasked many of our doctors to research and figure out how best to ensure their safety in our clinics. So yes, everybody was talking about PPE and checking thermometer checks and taking the patient travel history and so on and so forth. We went ahead and procured new equipment for all our clinics. So we ended up investing over about 400, so about 3 crores in getting new equipment. And in particular, I'll talk about 2 pieces of equipment. One is something called the aerosol suction and decontamination unit, ASDU. What it does is it's an exhaust fan, for lack of a better word, the one that you have above your kitchen cooking range, that sucks all the aerosols that are being generated from your mouth. And remember, in dental clinics, only one mouth is open, which is the patient's mouth. And we are able to put this device about 8 inches away from the patient's mouth and extract all the aerosols that are being generated during the treatment there, and then decontaminate it through a bunch of filters and UV light. That equipment ensures that there is no aerosols that escape while the patient is getting treated, so that our staff are going to remain safe. Then we also purchased another equipment called CFD, constant fumigation device, which we deployed in all our clinics, whereby it constantly fumigates the air and kills all the virus or bacteria that may escape by any chance. Thereby, we guaranteed that our staff are going to remain safe in the clinic. Then we spent a month training and educating our staff on the protocols, the equipment, and the way to deal with it. And as a result, a few months later, when we're ready to open, we today have about 220 clinics of our 350 that are open. By the end of this month, we will probably have about over 300 that'll be opening. And hopefully by middle of next month, we'll have them all open. We've been able to go back and bring our staff. Now remember, we have 70% of our dentists are female, who are naturally caring and compassionate, but they're also very concerned to make sure that they're not bringing any contaminants home, because they're probably responsible for a larger family at home. So we were making sure that our staff was fully aware and capable. And that allowed us to recover. And today, with our 220 clinics, we are probably back to about 80 or 90% of our original revenues where we were before. Now, we're not quite fully there, but we're working towards that. And because our staff are comfortable and secure, they are passing that confidence on to their patients, and that's enabling our recovery happening much faster. So the focus was, if you think your employees are your key asset, in healthcare, I believe professionals, what do we offer? Our product is our doctors, our dental assistants, our clinical staff. For us, that is our product. They are the ones who are delivering the service that we offer. So if they are in tip-top shape, we can ensure that our company will be in tip-top shape. So that was our focus from the beginning. Then the third piece that I'll talk about is how do we seize new opportunities, particularly in the new normal. As we went through, we realized that clearly patients didn't want to come to clinics quickly, and they would rather talk to a doctor first. So we launched a teledentistry platform. Now, of course, people think that, how can you fix teeth over the phone? Well, the reality is we cannot fix your teeth over the phone, but we can address many of the questions, and we are addressing many of those questions. For example, if you were to go to a clinic for an extraction, and the dentist will say that, are you taking blood thinners? And you say, yes, I am. Then they'll say, well, come back in 3 days after you stop taking the blood thinners because I cannot extract your teeth. The patient would say, well, you could have told me that on the phone and saved me a trip. So these are many such examples where we can better prepare our patients when they're walking into our clinic. So when they're coming in, they know what to expect and exactly how to prepare for that effective treatment. So the teledentistry platform has been launched and has been effective. We then also realized that patients need more assurance about safety. Now, Clove Dental was formed with the underpinnings of delivering high quality, safe dental care. So we launched 10x safety protocols during this, which were essentially enhanced on what we were doing before, but we added a few things. And in this 10x safety protocols, we were able to guarantee that our patients were getting a safe, clean, hygienic environment. We cannot guarantee the outcome of the treatment because that depends on the doctor, the treatment, and the disease that you have. But we certainly guarantee that the environment that you're in is going to be safe and secure. Finally, we looked at another opportunity of saying, how do we ensure that we provide full confidence? And we are in the process of rolling out AI, artificial intelligence, and computer vision in our clinics. So in our clinics, in the few weeks from now, a patient, when they walk in, they will have access to a camera, which they can see what time was their chair that they're sitting on was actually cleaned. And that video with a timestamp will be available for them to look at. And in fact, the computer vision is now monitoring every chair that's being cleaned, and the chair light goes green once the computer detects that the chair has been effectively cleaned. Otherwise, the light on that screen remains yellow. So this gives us proof positive that the chair that you're sitting on, the environment that you're sitting on, is clean and secure. So it's not just good enough in this new normal to talk about we provide good, safe environment. We have to provide proof points to our patients to make sure that they're doing it. So to summarize my comments, what I would say is that we focused on enduring, we focused on recovering, and we focused on seizing new opportunities. All of this was done because we were able to go back to our core values that we had set forth at the launch, at the foundation of the company. And those core values are trust, trusting our patients, trusting our employees, trusting our partners, respect, respecting our employees, respecting our professionals, respecting our patients, respecting our environment, and then integrity, to make sure that we are doing so with high integrity and high ethics. Because if you don't have any of those three things, we could not have survived, recovered, and be ready to seize new opportunities. So with that, I will thank Gaurav for again inviting me to share some of my remarks.
I think this was an extraordinary talk, Amar. And some of the key takeaways for us is, I think the commitment that you have shown as a leader and your organization has shown towards the employee safety, and which in turn is also very much committed towards the patient safety. I think this is extraordinary and walking the talk. And also the three things that I take out is the enduring, recovering, and seizing opportunity. And I think the base of trust between the various stakeholders is very important. And another important, I think, point which our participants can also, as a key takeaway can take, is the core values are time and context invariant. It should not happen that this crisis has come, so we should compromise with our core values. Core values basically remain the same, and we basically have to adapt ourselves according to the situation, but never compromise on our core values. So thanks a lot. I think this was an extraordinary talk and learning for our senior leaders.